Okay, so um, I've been getting some curious questions about how I set up my Vim environment, and I just want to take a few minutes to just show you how I have um, Vim set up from scratch, at least to the way I personally like it. I actually don't really work on vanilla Vim on this desktop. It's on my laptop, but it's more or less the same flow. I actually used NeoVim for a while, but I figured it's time that I just go use regular Vim on this computer. Might as well, since um, I think it'll be easier to maintain anyway. And I don't really use like that many features. All I need to do is just like fuzzy find and some C completion and things like that. So not too complicated. So I just wanna just maybe you want to replicate my setup just to make Vim a little more pleasant. This is the video, I guess. So first of all, like what Vim version do you need? You need something like I think Vim 9.1 at least. I think if you install it on any distribution, it's going to be like 9.1 by now. I don't think it updates that often. I don't know. But basically, if you're on Ubuntu, it will be like sudo apt install vim. If you're on Arch, it'll be pacman sy vim, and you should get the right version. So like by default, Vim is kind of plain, right? So let me just show you like a good example first. Oops. So it's kind of ugly. If I were to do like hello.py, where it's like supposed to recognize as Python, for example, um, it's actually not like the best in terms of development experience, right? Like one thing is that you don't have line numbers, okay, and then another thing is that it's hard to even like tell. Like I do have line numbers down here, but it's like it's just hard to tell on the side because we're so used to it. And syntax highlighting I noticed doesn't really always work, and so is like tabbing in general. So not even sure if I have like a vimrc in here. Let me see. Let's see. Vim. Okay, great. So I'm really vanilla right now. So let's just fix that. Let's just make Vim a little bit better. Okay. So the first thing we want is that we want a vimrc file, and that's like the basic configuration file that Vim looks for whenever you start up Vim. And that is by default, you're in your home directory. So you just need to create a .vimrc file. So I'll just actually just touch that for now. Oops. Okay. So if I were to edit this file, I'll have nothing right now. So I think like the first thing to see is like to show the effects of a good configuration, or like at least your tweaks to vimrc, is to just type something, one setting, save it, and then source that config in Vim to see if something happens, right? So I usually just start out with, in this case, let me look at how I do it on one of my computers. Um, yeah, I think line numbers is one of the easiest things to see. So we could just like do like something like this: set number, right? And I think by default, it should actually just show regular line numbers. So what we want to do is if we save this config file, this vimrc file with just this set number, what we want to do is we can quit and restart Vim, and you'll actually see now we have line numbers, right? Like this. Okay. I don't think it's actually really, it's like it's useful, right? You see the numbers, but I personally like relative line numbers. So what I tend to do is I do set number, I think it's relative number. Okay. Now if we want to see our changes, we could just do source on the command mode right here, normal mode. I think we just provide the directory path to the vimrc file, and we do that and hit enter. We'll immediately see our changes. See, now we're on relative line number mode, right? So yeah, so let's just like start going crazy with this configuration, and then we'll start talking about like what plugins and things like that I actually use. So first of all, I forget what the setting is, but set hidden, right? I always do that. I don't know why. Let's look it up right now. So vim set hidden. Okay. So set hidden, allow hidden buffers with set hidden, telling them that you have unsaved work that's not displayed on your screen. Okay. I know what this is. All right. So, okay. Suppose, let's say, like set hidden is this thing where, like, let's say you're working on another file. I'll just create another file, test.txt, right? And I just basically create another file, and then I have stuff here. Okay. Now, if I were to not save this file, but actually go back to the previous buffer I was working with, I get this warning here. See, no write since last change, add bang to override. So it gets kind of slow and annoying to move between buffers because of this error message. So set hidden allows you to bypass that and just ignore it and saying, hey, I know when I'm moving to a buffer, I'm not like, I don't care if it's gonna save or not. It'll be there. I'll come back to it. I'll save it if I want to. So I just want to be able to go from buffer to buffer and not worry about having to save just to move on. And that's what set hidden is there for. So if I were to do that and go back to my previous buffer with Control 6, if I were to save this vimrc file and actually source it again, right, and actually go back to my buffer that I was working on and just do this, right? I haven't saved it yet. I can literally just go back to now. I can just flip back and forth now, right? So set hidden is that. So maybe I should comment, right? I should probably comment on that. So maybe, oops, yeah. I would say allow us to go between buffers without having to save the current buffer. Something like that. Okay. There's another setting that I tend to just like put into that I don't think really matters, but I just do it. It's called set no compatible, and that actually disables compatibility with VI. Okay, I do that so that I don't run into like VI related things. I don't use VI. I use Vim. So yeah, I in my personal config, I say we don't care about VI, but that's not nice. So I just say disables compatibility with VI here. By the way, I'm not sure if I said this earlier, but this is how you do a comment in your vimrc file with the quotation mark. Okay, so the next setting I like is file type detection. So if you notice, like, let's say if it knows that you're working with like a .py file, for example, it'll kind of treat things as like a Python file. If it's like a .c file, it'll treat it as a .c file. So I do like a file type on as file type detection. So to enable file type detection this way. And then I also set something called cursor line. And what cursor line is, let me show you this. So I'll do set cursor line, and then I'll actually source my Vim file. Okay, it allows you to actually see exactly where you're at in terms of what line your cursor is at the moment when you're editing your files in Vim. So I don't know, I just think it's good because I can see what's going on. And then what else do I do? I should probably comment that. Allows underline on the line cursor is placed at. Okay. Okay. Now I do like a bunch of other things, like for example, like quality of life, right? So relative number is one of them. So I'll just add a comment here. Set relative line numbers. but I also like syntax highlighting. Okay, like just to make sure, because not every terminal will recognize to highlight syntax in Vim, so this like kind of explicitly forces it with syntax on. Okay, and then I also set encoding to UTF-8 instead of like whatever is default. So set encoding to be UTF-8. So do set encoding equals UTF-8. Okay, so far so good. I don't think that's things like that. Okay, so now if I source again, vimrc, okay, it'll actually just refresh everything. Nothing's really visible. We haven't set anything like that would affect visibility of whatever we're doing right now. And then I do a lot of white space stuff. So it's like set smart indent. So it'll actually indent things for you based off of what it thinks. Basically, if you actually run into issues where, like, let's say you're in like this automatic indentation and things are getting in your way, I will actually look to disable this setting first. It may not work for you in terms of like your workflow, but for me it kind of does, so that's why I leave it on sometimes. But turn it off if it affects your workflow when it comes to indentation. I also set tabs to be 4. So tab stop. What is this called? Set tab stop. So 4. Okay, so that's like spaces. Okay, and I also set shift width to be 4, and then I also set soft tabs to be 4. So soft tab stop to be 4. Okay, so now if I source again, now everything, like all the white space stuff should be like handled. I also have a set no shift round. I forgot what that is. Let's see. Vim no shift round. I forgot what that is. Oh, no shift round when hitting tab. Oh, aligned indentation. Okay, so yeah, I want that. So I think set no shift round. So there we go. And then set highlighting when doing a search is for, okay, so yeah, this will be very useful. So say I want to search for something like file type, right? And if I search for file type by using command mode and like slash file type like that, notice how like my cursor goes to that token that I'm looking for, right? That string, in this case, file type. It's not obvious to me. Sometimes it's hard to actually see that it, my cursor did indeed move to this token. So what setting can help with that is set HL search. Okay, so that allows you to have some highlighting on the matching text that you're searching for. So for example, if I sourced vimrc again, see now notice how like my file type is all highlighted, right? So I can do compat like this, and it'll actually highlight the compatibility stuff. If I do buffer, it'll highlight buffer. If I do HL, it'll highlight all the HLs like that. So then you can actually just like move between all these occurrences like that. Okay, so that makes it more obvious that you found something. So yeah, now I should probably comment that highlights matches, substring matches, highlights the matching tokens during search. Okay, so now next thing I want is history of commands to save, right? So I think here you can see how like you have a history of all the commands when you're in normal mode with the colon, right? So you can just do colon, and then you can do up and down arrow keys to get all the past commands like this. There's like a limit to it, right? I actually just make that limit bigger, so I usually make it like, I think something ridiculous, like 10,000. I think that's too much, but I just do it anyway, just for fun. I don't know why. So I just set the command history. So set command to save history. So set history is gonna be like, I'll be nice and just do 1,000 here. So if I do source .vimrc again, that should like take into effect. There's also an autocomplete menu that you can use in Vim during command mode, and I think you can trigger it if you just start typing and then just hit tab. No, there's, let me see. Okay, yeah, okay, cool. So if you hit tab, there's actually an autocomplete menu if you're trying to like type something. So you hit tab, it'll like try to fill up with like some search suggestions, right? So nothing here, I don't know, hi, yeah, like this. So yeah, hitting tab will allow you to pop up this history. You can even do things like E. I think if I were to do slash, you'll have like all this here to help you with finding things. So if I did something like C or E root home, it'll actually take me there, right? So anyway, E vimrc again. Okay. So there's a better, I think, autocomplete. If you hit tab, it'll actually do that. But let's hold off on that. The default works, and I actually don't use it often. I use something else, like a plugin available for it, but I just wanted to let you know. So not sure if this is applicable now, but colors. So term GUI colors is a setting that allows you to make sure that Vim uses the proper colors. So I don't know, since I always theme my Vim, I can't tell if it even works. So, oh, I think it does. I think it does, yeah. So until we have a good theme, this will look really ugly. So, yeah, because I have a capuchin on my terminal color, so it's gonna try to use all that. Let's see. Okay, now let's talk about bindings, like key bindings, right? In Vim, there's a thing called a leader key, and that's basically the thing that will trigger like keystrokes to kind of activate some sort of action. So basically what you need to do is that let's say if I were to bind my leader key or a prefix key or whatever you call it to like space, for example, as soon as I hit space in like normal mode, it's gonna listen for a set of keystrokes, and based off of those keystrokes, it can actually execute commands that you normally would execute while in command mode like this, right? So let's say if I were to have something like buffer, for example, right? Oops, that's not an editor command. Oh, that's not a thing. Oh, I think that's a plugin thing. How about, let's say, oh, I know, BP, right? So I could actually automate that with the keystroke. So instead of having to go bn BP to go previous and next like that, I could set like a keystroke with like leader, basically space P space N to kind of just like go back and forth on my buffer. But you could do a lot more things. So I kind of want to do that right now by setting my leader key. So what is your prefix key, right? That's basically what we're trying to accomplish here. So I can actually do, okay, you know what? I'm gonna turn off the set term GUI colors first. So I'm gonna do that. It's not changing. I'm broken. Am I? Let's see. Bang. Oh, I'm fixed. Okay. Don't know why sourcing did not fix that, but quit, restart. It's all fine. Okay. So I'm going to do some set the leader key to be a spacebar. So how you do that is you do let map leader to be a space like this. So now if you hit space in normal mode or any other mode, depending on how you map your keys, it's going to start to listen for a set of keystrokes for just like some timeout period. So if I were to source vimrc again, if I hit space, actually it's not listening for anything right now because I don't have any keystrokes. So let's add one. Let's add like a key binding, right? So how we add our first key binding here is we can just do normal. So normal mode, right? Non-recursive, right? Map. So it starts with this. Like most normal mode key mappings will start with this like NO remap. So it's like normal mode non-recursive map or something like that. I want to bind my leader and then number 7, for example, to be BP, so the previous buffer, and then CR. So I wanted to do this. If I were to hit space and then 7 quickly, it will actually just essentially execute that colon BP enter command. So it's equivalent to doing something like that, right? So let me just make a test buffer, okay, and then write that, okay, and then what I want to do is now go back to my previous buffer and I'm gonna source vimrc, okay, and I can just do space 7. It's not working. Why is it not working? Do I have to also? No, probably... Oh, I didn't save. Whoa. There. Maybe that's the reason. Oops. Maybe that's the reason why. Let's do this. Oh, there we go. I just didn't save it. Okay. So after saving, I hit space 7, right? For example, now I'm going back to the previous buffer, right? So I can also do the same thing for 8, for example. So leader 8 will actually be the next buffer. Okay, so CR stands for carriage return. So then I can just do source the vimrc again, and then if I do 7, 8, 7, 8, or just 7, you know. So yeah, easy, makes things easier. Okay, now when I was learning Vim, I had a tendency to want to use my arrow keys, right, to navigate in normal mode, and I kind of like decided, hey, you know, I'm gonna do it the way everyone does and use the HJKL keys to kind of, you know, navigate like arrow keys instead, because I don't know, people say it's faster. I guess in retrospect it is faster because, you know, you don't have to like move your hand to the arrow key, right? So I yell at myself. I have something like a map to yell at myself whenever I try to use the arrow keys on normal mode. And so I have a mapping. So every time I hit like the left arrow key, I'll have something that says like, hey, use the H key to move left. And it's pretty loud. So let me show you how I do that. It's the same thing. You'll just need to map the key with left, down, up, and right. So something like this. So NO remap left, and I want to execute a command, right, with echo, and then I'll just with a string 3 exclamation points, use H to use H to move left like this. Okay, so then if I try to hit the left arrow key in normal mode, I'll have this thing to yell at me. It'll echo on the bottom status here that says use H to move left. So if I were to source again vimrc, okay, if I try to hit H, left, sorry, if I try to hit left, it'll yell at me, right? Command, forgot to put the carriage return. Okay, do it again. All right, so now if I hit arrow key, left arrow key, I get this thing to yell at me. Use H to move left. So I just do that for like all my arrow keys. So I could just do down, right? So I do CMD, echo, use and J to move down. And then I also do left down, up. Is it up? Yeah, it's up. CMD, echo, use K to move up. And then right would be L. I have to look at it because I'm so used to it now. Echo, use L to move right. Okay. So if I source, vimrc again, okay. If I were to just use my arrow keys, now it starts to yell at me, right? So it reminds me, it's a good reminder. And notice how my cursor does not move at all, okay? Because I kind of overrode it. So yeah. So that's the basic Vim configuration, right? So that's what I have. Now, to go even further, like I still think this is ugly. I don't like this at all. Like these colors kind of suck. It doesn't like give me energy to program, right? So that's where we start needing Vim plugins. And I actually don't use a lot. I just have like a better status bar, a fuzzy finder, a file finder, and then I think some syntax highlighting and a theme. So in order to do that, there is like a plugin manager that you can use for Vim, and it's called Vim Plugged. So in like for things like tmux and I don't know, I guess tmux, like you have these plugin managers, right, that you can add into your like configuration file. It's the same thing with Vim. So I think I use Vim Plugged. Yeah, this one, this Vim Plugged. Okay, and all you need to do to install this is just to have I think there's like a script somewhere. Hold on, script. Right here. Click for instructions. Okay, so if you have Unix or Linux, right here, yeah, for Vim, you just need to execute this script here. Okay, so if I were to just copy that and go back to my terminal, put Vim, and just do this, okay, it's actually going to create, I think, .vim directory maybe? Yeah, .vim directory for you, okay? So this .vim directory is going to be where Vim Plugged will actually hold all its plugins. But how do you get plugins, right? So now that I have this installed, this plugin manager installed, you need to kind of link that with Vim so that it recognizes that. So the pattern is basically in your vimrc. You'll just have a section at the end, maybe before your remapping of keys with call plug begin, and then basically add in like whatever your plugins are, and then call plug end. Okay, so that's like everything in between these two lines will actually be containing the list of your plugins with this plug and then the repo syntax. And then what Vim Plug will do is based off of these certain commands, like for example plug install, it will go through every single one of these plugins and install it or update it or like kind of just wipe it out and then give you back like a clean state. That's all I really use this thing for. So very basic. So let's do that right now. So if I do vimrc again, okay. So now that I have Vim Plug installed, I'll just probably add my plugins below this one right here. Okay. So it's just as simple as call plug begin, and then basically the path to where you want your plugins to be. Okay. So I put it in my home directory, and then it'll be .vim, and then I'll have a folder called plugged, okay? And then I think that's what they use too. Let's see. Oh, they probably use a default thing. Okay. I'll just create a folder called plugged, just for the sake of it, and then call plug end. Okay. So everything in here is going to be where your plugins are at. Okay. So I am going to real quick context switch and just make dir .vim plugged, just for the sake of making sure the plugins installed correctly. Okay, now let's start installing our first plugin, right? So in this case, I like the Capuchin theme. I like it so much. So I want to install the plugin for Vim here. So I just do plug Capuchin/Vim like that. And then actually no, let me show you how to do it the right way. How I do it is I just do this. Capuchin Vim plugin. And then right here. So you go to the plugin here, and then what you do is you find the one that fits your plugin manager. In this case, they support Vim plug, right? So then you just kind of just copy this, okay, and then just paste it into your vimrc file, okay, just like that. All right. Now there is actually a separate configuration you do, is that you need to actually specify exactly what theme you want to use. So it's this. So clone the repo, right? So we don't need to do that because this will do it for us. So then we don't need that, but then we do need this, right? We need to set the color scheme to whatever we want. So after our plugin installs, we can basically say color scheme Capuchin _ I like mocha, so this is it right here. So I put that under after all the plugins are declared. So I do something like color scheme Capuchin mocha. Okay. So like this is our first plugin that we're going to install, and then we're actually going to configure it after the plugin right here. Okay, so then and to install the plugin, since I already have plugged installed, I can just do :plug install like this. Not an editor command. Wait, why? Did I miss something? Oh, I need to source this. Source first. Okay, now it wants to install a plugin, so I do plug install. Okay, there we go. So now the plugin's installed. Okay, so we can just quit here, and then if we were to restart Vim, now we have a different theme. Okay, and I think this is where the set term GUI colors come in handy. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So that's needed to activate custom colors. Now I remember what this is for. Yeah. So make sure if you want the right theme, you definitely need to set this. Okay. So that's why I had it there. I should probably comment. I'll say make sure that the theme colors work. Okay. So now we have a good theme. Okay. We have this Capuchin theme here, and notice how each time we put our cursor, the line is actually now highlighted, so that's good. Okay, everything looks a little bit more pleasant now. And now I actually have a very cool bar that I want to show you. It's called Lightline. It's basically Vim Lightline. Okay, so I think it's this one. So yeah, it's this status line configuration here. So basically, again, the pattern is the same. I like this. We don't worry about configuring yet. We just need to use Vim plug. So we just do here, copy that, and then we just paste it in under here. Oops. There we go. Okay. And then we will do source vimrc, And then let's do plug install again to just go through our new plugin list and install it. And it looks like it already found the lightline.vim, so we can quit. And we don't have it yet, right? So why? Because we actually need to configure this thing. So the instructions are here, but I'm just gonna give it to you. So yeah, I'm just gonna give it to you. So basically the configuration, and I'll just put it down here for Lightline. But I encourage you to read it, you know. So last status is 2. Okay. And I'm gonna do set no show mode. Okay. And then the more complicated one would be something like let g lightline equals braces. And then I'm just gonna kind of format it correctly here. Actually, let me just do it this way. Color scheme. Wombat. I like the wombat theme. Background. Make sure it's in dark mode. Okay. And I think that's all there is to it. Okay, if I source vimrc again, now I have it, right? I have my status bar here, okay? And then, yeah, I'm not sure. I think, why is it not, is that wombat? What does wombat look like? Oh, wombat does, I want wombat, what? That's not wombat. Why? Maybe it's because it is very format picky. Let's see. I think my config has it like this. I have no idea why I did it this way, but I think I just copied and pasted somewhere from what I remember. So let's just do it like this, for example. Okay. Okay, and then let's just quit and start again. Oh, I guess you do need to format it that way. So now I have wombat. Okay, so now I have a nice status line. And next is our fuzzy finder. So let me show you what that is. So if I were to use NeoVim, okay. So NeoVim, I have this thing where I can actually start to find things like this, okay. So this is actually very useful because then it allows you to kind of just like look for things quickly and find the files. I think you've seen me do that before. I also can see open buffers, right? So this is like a huge quality of life increase. So I want to put that into Vim too. So going back to Vim. So how I would be able to pull this off is to use something called FCF. Okay. Sorry. I think it's also an FCF from June Gun. June Gun is amazing. He has done so much for the Vim community. He has made FCF, basically the command line version of what I'm gonna show you, like that you can use outside of Vim. He's also made the Vim plug, the manager, the thing that we're actually using to install, right, our plugins, and he's also made the FCF Vim plugin. He also has a bunch of other cool stuff. He's just an amazing, talented person. So yeah, so let's just check out FCF Vim, okay, and that's the Vim plugin. So basically it's just as simple as these two things here. So copy again, basically plug, okay, right there. I'm just gonna paste it down here, okay, and then we do need some dependencies. Now this is going to suck if you are on like a distro that doesn't have latest versions of things. There's a reason why I also kind of use Arch Linux, because I don't have to worry about that stuff. But all you need is, for this to really work, is you need FCF. Okay, you need FCF, which is his tool, 5.4 0.54.0 or above. And that is already built into many of the more like bleeding edge distros. But I think Ubuntu, if you're on Ubuntu, it's going to be a older version. But last time I checked, if you're on like at least Ubuntu 24, I think the older version is just fine. You'll also need bat, and then you also need rip grep, which is what I use to fuzzy find things. So if you are on Arch, for example, you just need to do something like pacman sy fcf rip grep and bat. And oh, so bat is like an enhanced version of cat. It's the thing that provides you like a colorful preview. And I don't know if I use AG, but let's just do it. So just these are like the dependencies, right? So oops. So just make sure you have like those extra dependencies, and we don't have AG, so I don't know what that is. I don't use it. So anyway, so now I have all my dependencies I need. Okay, so I personally just apparently I don't know what I didn't have. Let's see what I did not have here. What did I just install? I guess I didn't actually have these things. What's weird? Should have. Huh. Oh well. Or is that not the right FZF? Let me see. Hold on. I think I had it from the Yay thing. I probably still had it. Yeah. I think I had it. It's just that I probably had it from another repo or something. I don't know. I should have had it since I was using it in NeoVim. Or maybe NeoVim is using something else. Oh, ignore me. Yes, I remember. NeoVim uses a different thing. The config I'm using was using something called Telescope, I think. So that's why I didn't have FCF. So this is the first time I'm getting FCF in this computer. Okay, that makes sense now. All right. So yeah, you'll need those dependencies that I just installed right here. So FCF, rip grep, and bat is what I recommend. Yeah. So we have all that, right? And I guess it's called the Silver Searcher, but I don't think we really need that. And here are all the commands you can use once you install the plugin. And I'll just show you how that works after we plug install. So we need a source, vimrc, to get the FCF plugin. So we can do something like plug install, and that'll go and fetch the FZF stuff. And if I were to quit out of this, and then if I were to just I think do SF, oops, okay. If I were to do, I don't have the key binding yet. So if I do files, files, yeah, then I start to see stuff, right? So now I'm almost there. Like I'm kind of rolling now, right? So at this point, I have a fuzzy finder for files, and I also have a fuzzy finder for, what is it? I think grep stuff. So I think it's RG. Yeah, RG. So if I do :RG, I will also have this one. So I can search for something like, this is searching literally on my entire home directory. So I don't know if this is going to work, but I could do define spin lock, for example, and it'll actually look into my Linux code base, my kernel code base, and find it there. So it starts at the directory you're at, and then you can actually go. And then this is bat right here, right? So it gives you like a nice colorful preview. So yeah, so that's that. But that was quite inconvenient, wasn't it? Like in this case, like I always had to like do RG and then something, right? So RG directory. So we can have some key bindings for that, and I'm so used to the key bindings that I wanted to do that to show you guys earlier. So if we were to just add the same key bindings, let's say for example, I want to do files like on the current project, files on my home, right? So I want SF for the files within the current project, and then SH, leader SF for the files on my project, leader SH on the files on my home. That will bring up the that'll bring up those dialog boxes to start searching. So I could do an NO remap, leader SF like that, and then I could do have it execute the command files and then CR, okay, and I can also do leader sh for files at home, okay, and that is also with the CR because you want to hit enter, and that's about it, right? That's it for the files part. So let's test that out. So if I were to source vimrc again, okay, and if I do space sf, now I get basically that files dialog. If I were to do space sh, it'll be on my home directory. Now my vimrc and my home is in my home directory, so that's why you're getting the same thing. But if this was a different project in some other directory, sf and sh would show different things in this case. Now let's add our rip grep. Like, we want to search for the contents now. We don't want to search for the file names only. So I have something called sg for rip grep. So same thing. Leader sg is going to be rg, okay, and that's just as simple as that. So by default, it'll look into your current directory. So if I were to source vimrc again and do space sg, now I'm in rip grep mode where I can just look for contents, right? So in this case, if I want to look for VM Linux, for example, right? So then it starts to look for the content. So notice how I found it in here in this file, and it will give you all the matches as you keep going up and down. So that's great. So that's another quality of life improvement. And then I also want to show my current buffers, okay? So I am so used to space, right, to show my current buffers. So I will also map that. So I could do NNO remap leader. So space will give me buffers in this case. Okay, now that's an FCF thing. So if I do, let's say, source, source vimrc again. Now we do space, I'll get all my open buffers. Okay, so let's say I want to open test.txt again, right? If I do space, I can actually flip between easier, right? My open buffers, right? So yeah. And it's the same thing as, like, so I could just say test.txt or vimrc, something like that. I could do the same thing with the space 7, space 8 too, if I wanted to, but sometimes I just like this, right? So I don't know, why is the arrow key not working? Usually it works. Oh, I see. So maybe if I were to, that's weird. That's weird. I don't know. Okay, so let's flip back. Okay. That's it. That's actually my vim config. I mean, it's very simple, but it works, right? Oh wait, no, that's not it. I have one more thing. Syntax, not really syntax hiding, but like autocomplete type of things, right? Like if you're programming, you kind of want to have like hints and things. So there is a plugin called You Complete Me. So You Complete Me plugin. So this one, I think. So You Complete Me Vim. Okay. It's huge. I think there is a version. Let me see. Vim plug. There is a Vim plug version. I forgot what it was called. Let me see. Valoric You Complete Me. Let's see. Valoric. How did I know how to do that? That's weird. But okay, let's just say you want this plugin. Okay, so there's a lot of documentation here because internally it's like I think it's like an LSP thing, so you have to set that up too. It's actually quite easy, so I'm just gonna show you how I do mine without having to go through all this pain. So the plugin here is going to be plug, okay, vimrc, okay, you complete me, okay. Now, when you install this plugin, it's actually gonna pull down a bunch of other like additional dependencies that you need to manually install yourself, right? So like you need to install the completing engines. Like for example, if you wanted Python or C or whatever, you would have to install those separately with a script. So I'll show you that too. So for now, let's install this plugin, and it's gonna complain about errors, I think. So if I do plug install, or actually the source first, and I do plug install, it's going to try to get this you complete me thing, and it's going to clone, right, to plugged you complete me third party and whatever, right? So these are the directories that we should find. So now it's done, okay, but then look, it's like it can't find the LSP or whatever completion engine thing, okay? So what we want to do is we want to get out of here, and then we want to go into this directory of I think it's vim plugged you complete me, okay, and there is an install.py here, right? So if we go to the documentation, basically how it works is you basically need to run install.py with the switches for the family of languages you want supported. So you want C#, you just add --cs completer. If you want C, it'll be clangd completer. If you want JavaScript, it'll be ts completer. Go, you'll need to have Go and do Go completer, and so on. I think Python is already supported by default, it seems like. So yeah, so yeah, Python is supported. C, we need C though, so we'll just run this in our install.py. So it's in, oops, it's in here, right? So we can just do python 3 install.py clangd completer, like that. So now it's going to just do that installation for clangd. You just wait, and we'll try it out with a Python file and then a C file and see what happens. So it has to do all the manual compilation and things like that. Okay, so now it's all set up. So let's actually go back to our home directory and just like make maybe a test file, some vim main.c, something like that, and then we can just do include. So now we have stuff, right? So because it works now, so you complete me automatically starts to pick stuff like this up. So we can do stdio.h, and then we could just do int main, for example, and then give it maybe a printf. So then it gives you like that hint now. So I'll just do hello world, okay, with a new line, return 0. So now I'm starting to get completion. That's great. So then if I quit out of Vim and I do main.py, for example, and let's just do Python, for example. So let's do def main. I don't know if it's the same, but if we do print, there we go. So Python stuff starts to come out too. I think what also it allows you to do is if you highlight this for a certain period of time, let's see if it comes up. Yeah, so some documentation comes up too, to kind of hint what is there about this function. So yeah, that's my Vim config. That's it. It's as simple as that. It gets the job done. There's nothing fancy, but yeah. Anyway, thanks.